recently I have been in a season of bearing witness to other people's growth as my life appears to be relatively stagnant when in comparison to my peers who are announcing their engagement, who are announcing their marriage, who are announcing their home ownership, who may be announcing their pregnancy, who may be announcing their business opening. In comparison to my peers, my life appears to be relatively stagnant. Yet nonetheless, as I bear witness to these successful endeavors, I am not greeted by insecurity, inadequacies. Anything that I'm doing currently does not feel insignificant in comparison to what my peers are accomplishing and or have accomplished. Yet I wasn't always of this sound mind. When I was 18 to the age of 20, did I truly begin to understand the process of growth? Understand that growth is not a linear experience. Growth isn't merely of ascension. Growth may entail stagnation. Growth may entail regression. Yet growth is the momentum provided to a movement. I was so focused on accomplishing a goal and being successful. I was attentive to the movement, yet I was not appreciating the momentum it took to bear witness to every movement that took place within my life. So from 18 to 20, I was pursuing these various endeavors professionally and or academically because it was permitted unto me, because I was presented with the opportunity to actively engage in the roles that I occupied. I pursued them fully because I was reaching for something that I didn't necessarily need, but I wasn't grasping a hold to what I had. So furthermore, I was reaching and reaching and reaching and grabbing and grabbing and grabbing, but I wasn't grasping to necessity, if that makes any sense. I was reaching to what I perceived I needed because I didn't truly have an awareness of what I had. I didn't really appreciate what I had. But I was a go-getter. And there's nothing wrong with being a go-getter, but you have to ask yourself, for what reason am I going after what I am attempting to get? And I didn't do that. What I'm trying to say is I held happiness within the palm of my hand. And if not happiness, I held what I needed within the palm of my hand. I had what I needed. And yet, I was endlessly pursuing what I perceived to be of necessity. And not until I needed what I no longer had did I realize that I always had what I needed. I once perceived growth to be of mere ascension. Thus, in turn, I measured my growth on the grounds of my successes. Yet as life progressed, I then began to experience growth within and or through failure. I failed. And within failure, I began to appreciate the process. I began to acknowledge the perseverance, the effort, the endurance. I acknowledged what I had. Growth wasn't my successes. Growth wasn't a honor roll. Growth wasn't that promotion. Growth wasn't anything that I perceived it to be initially. Growth was the fact that I was actually actively pursuing this engagement. I was actively persevering. I was enduring. I was progressing. Even if it didn't look promising, for the lack of better wording or phrasing, I still continued. Even in the midst of failure, I still continued until I experienced success. Not to suggest that success was in the forefront of my mind, yet that is what my life soon became. As I just appreciated what I had, I acknowledged what I had, and I did what I could with what I had until what I had became more than what I had initially. You know what I mean? I wasn't reaching, I was grasping. And with that strong grasp, I was able to hold on to what I had and say, okay, what's in front of me does not align to what's in my hand. You know, what's in front of me isn't going to be enough for what I got going on right now. It's actually insufficient. So love yours. Remember that growth is not perfection. Growth is progress. Growth is gradual. Growth takes time. And within time, we are liable to experience stagnation, regression. We are liable to descend rather than ascend. Yet, even if we descend, even if we are stagnant, even if we are regressive, it is what we do then after to propel our movement. It's the momentum we give. So, growth. Love yours.